Emily, in your interview with Steven Stamkos and in my chat with Pat Maroon, there's an organizational belief that's well-founded, and it really showed itself tonight. It went as well as it could have, except for the Kucherov injury. You have any update for us on his situation?
No, as I'm speaking to you now, John Cooper hasn't spoken, but this is what I can tell you. Being down by the locker room when Kucherov came off, he was extremely frustrated. By being somebody who's been around hockey and covers it for a living, I'm going to use my best guesstimation here. I bet he's going to be listed as day-to-day going forward. It's obviously a big loss because they were without Braden Point in this game. You know, some of his teammates were asked about the hit by Devon Toews. They said they didn't see it. Victor Hedman said he saw it, and he thought it was a dirty play. But however, he guessed that the Department of Player Safety won't do anything about it, and my hunch is that they won't.
Yeah, and I mean, injuries definition in this sport is so vague, as we know. It'll be listed as lower body anyway. They're not going to tell us anything, and then we'll find out for sure Wednesday. Now, another common thread in your conversation with Stamkos and in my visit with Maroon is they talk about being faster. Emily, in what ways was their speed sort of impactful on their success?
Well, Scott, I think it was really interesting because when I asked Steven Stamkos, why were you guys faster, the first thing he said was, well, that's a hard place to play. And no one's ever going to admit it or use it as an excuse, but I do think the altitude affected them in Colorado. One of the people around on this, Stanley Cup Finals media group is Ville Nieminen, who won a Stanley Cup with Colorado Avalanche back when they won 21 years ago. And he told me for visiting teams, like, sometimes the altitude or the VO2 levels don't hit you at first. It takes a couple days to set in, and that's why you see them just look so lethargic in Game 2, that 7-0 drubbing. But the ways that I saw it today, before the game, John Cooper was telling us that he felt his team exerted energy in the wrong ways in Games 1 and 2, just being a little too overeager in checks, using their aggressive energy that way and not being smart about it. I didn't see a lot of that tonight. I saw a lot more controlled entries into the zone. And honestly, I just saw a team that looked rejuvenated to have this home crowd. And again, it's so cliche, but home crowd does matter in these playoffs.
Well, clearly, and I mean, look, Denver was an absolute scene on Saturday night, and it was on Tampa tonight, and it will be again Wednesday. Now, a lot of the conventional wisdom, Emily, before this series started, is there was this massive advantage for Tampa Bay when it came to goalkeeping. Well, Vasilevsky gives up 7 in Game 2, and Cooper left him out there. Kemper gives up 5 tonight and was pulled. Is there any sort of further update on what we might see for Game 4?
This is going to be a really interesting decision. After the game, Jared Bednar admitted he didn't think Darcy Kuemper had a good night. A lot of those goals were soft, and that is why he pulled him. Just so you have some context of the situation, Colorado wasn't crazy about its goaltending situation mid-year. They actually were looking around for goaltenders on the, market at the trade deadline, and then they decided there was no one out there at a better price than Pavel Francouz, so they gave him an extension. That's how much they believe in him. So they're comfortable going with him, and there's a lot of people in their organization who believe in Francouz. That said, Darcy Kuemper was their starter all year long. Once he got healthy from concussion, they put him in. I get the sense that they feel because they gave so much money to Darcy Kuemper, it is their obligation to start him, but these are going to be some very interesting conversations behind the scenes, and I really don't know who's going to start in Game 4.
Well, it makes a series that looked like it might be a rout suddenly feel really interesting and compelling. And again, Game 4 Wednesday night, and we will chat with you hopefully when that one's done. Emily, thanks for the time as always.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.